On this episode of Speaking of Spirits, we do an interview with Ghosts and Garnets, our fellow podcasters, Idahoans, and paranormal peeps.
Hello, everybody. This is Colleen with Speaking of Spirits, and today I've got my sidekick Tim.
Well, hi.
And Carrie.
Hello.
Hey. And we are doing an interview today with another groovy podcast out there called Ghosts and Garnets. And if you haven't listened, I encourage you to do so because I've been listening, and they're awesome. So today we have Camden and Whitney.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, you know, I stumbled across your podcast and I've been listening, and it is awesome because I love the whole spooky versus killer vibe. That's really cool. How did you guys get into podcasting, or what the subject matter, or all of the above? What attracted you to it?
Well, this is Whitney. I'm a big true crime fan, and so is Camden, but I got really into podcasts sort of through the pandemic, and Camden has always been into anything supernatural and creepy and ghosty. And in October we were messaging, and I was like, you know what, I really want to do a true crime podcast. And Camden said, I'm in. And I said, no, I really want to do it. I don't just want to talk about it. I want to do it. And she was like, no, I'm in. And I think not even 2 weeks later, we recorded our first episode.
That's awesome.
So alcohol wasn't involved or anything?
No.
Whoa! That's crazy.
That's awesome.
This is one sound decision we've made without alcohol.
So are the murder subject matter, I haven't been listening that long to you guys, but are they all murderers in Idaho?
Yes, everything that we record happens in Idaho, yes.
Wow. So how many are there? There must be a bunch, huh?
A lot more than you realize.
Yeah, spooky.
Yeah, it's been a lot more.
Wasn't the first female serial killer in Idaho? Wasn't she the one poisoning everybody?
I think she was from Twin Falls.
We did. It was our second case we covered. Was her? Her name's Flypaper Lyda. Her name is Lyda Trubla.
Yes, I listened to that one. Okay, cool. That was bizarro.
Anything for insurance.
She was crazy town.
Yeah. So when you are looking up your subject matter, are you like getting court documents and all that? I mean, how are you researching?
I can't speak for Whitney, but when I get on, I just Google weirdest crimes in Idaho or whatever, and just kind of start going down rabbit holes, really, and trying to look at some of the history of Idaho too. But it's definitely easier to find murders than ghosty stories for me.
Yes.
What does that say?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. We run into that too, because some of our favorite topics are hauntings in Idaho, but it's subjective, because what happens to one person may not happen to another. So
exactly.
Yeah. Do you do any paranormal investigations?
We did. So we don't actually do any investigating ourselves, but we did. we did a ghost walk in Lewiston that was very fun and interesting and slightly creepy. And we got to learn a lot about the haunted history there, and they had some paranormal investigators there. And we're definitely interested in doing more and learning more. But, you know, like you guys said, it's hard, especially when we're novices, to find enough information about one subject to fill, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it can be hard.
So how'd you come up with the Garnet aspect in your title?
Camden came up with the title.
Yeah.
I just was thinking, I'm like, what is something that is catchy that has to do with Idaho? And we were talking about ghosts, and it just kind of popped into my mind. Idaho, we're known for we're the gem state, so it just kind of came to me.
I love the title is so catchy. I love it. It's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys, okay, when you're researching, one of you's more spooky, one of you's more murdery.
Yes.
So, and do you bounce the ideas off of each other, or do you guys just have a list that you're working off of, or whatever catches your interest you go with?
Well, we have a list of cases we absolutely want to cover, but if we're each sort of working on scripts separately, and then, something doesn't feel right. A couple of times we've decided what we were going to cover for the next week, and one of us will be working on it and kind of say, you know what, it doesn't feel like what I want to do this week, and so we switch it up. We're pretty easy that way. So just something, whatever feels good. And maybe if we've done a few like pretty heavy, hardcore things, we like to switch it up and do something a little lighter for the next week, just to give people and give ourselves a break.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a list, but we ping pong all over the place. So, I mean, we at first, like the first couple of years we were podcasting, it was like, well, can we fill a year? And then it was, can we fill two? And now we're working on year 3, and it's like, and we're still going. And it's because we don't we don't do just like hauntings. We do anything and everything creepy. So it's, but we have a lot of fun with it. And you can pretty much make just about anything creepy if you look hard enough. So
Everything is creepy.
So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You had said you were gotten into podcasts, but did you do any other podcasts before this?
No.
Wow, you guys are really good, though. You're good. You're really good.
Our whole lives.
Okay.
So it's we're very comfortable with each other, and we know how the other one communicates, and so I think that's why it's turned out as well as it has.
That's awesome. You seem to have a pretty strong following when I'm looking you guys up, and I don't know why.
It's wild.
Yeah,
It's
and
crazy. I can't believe it, actually.
and like every time, I swear to God, my phone is haunted, because every time I wanted to like look up our message track, it would send you that stupid message that says, "Where can I find your podcast?" I'm like, "Would you quit doing that? I didn't even type that. Where is this coming from?" But we have somebody else who's a podcaster in Malad, and every time we do an interview with him, or he interviews us, all of our equipment goes bananas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. So like I said,
Weird.
yeah, just about anything can get creepy once you look for it. But yeah. So what? Okay. So what episode are you on at this point? Do you podcast weekly release?
Yes, we release every Wednesday, and then we also do release Mondays for our patrons, for our subscribers on Patreon. And then we do an extra monthly bonus episode for our patrons as well, so they get a full-length extra one.
That's pretty cool. We do have a Patreon account, but we haven't really activated it yet. It's been hard for us to find time to do the extra work involved, but I think it would be wise. I think that's a wise step for all of the podcasts to do.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It definitely takes up a lot more time than, I initially realized it would, just to do it in general, the podcast. But
yeah. Yeah, I'm a small town murder junkie. I don't know if you've listened to their podcasts. And
Yep.
yeah. And so I subscribe to Patreon for them for all of the bonus stuff because I
They're
can't
like
get enough.
a 2-hour one, aren't they? They're like a long one.
Some of theirs are can be almost 2
like
hours.
they did that one out in Pingree, and I think it was almost 2 hours by the time they. But
Wow.
they spent the first 45 minutes talking about Blackfoot and Pingree, and
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like,
Stay away.
come on.
Well, they're comedians, though. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, they do.
So,
yeah,
I mean, it's good. I love when you get involved with these podcasts, like your podcast and other podcasts. You develop almost this weird mental relationship with these people because you start to know their personalities and you enjoy listening to them. You know, like we have people that, hey, we were listening to you guys driving back up from Salt Lake City and just love this, and they'll send us messages, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
So,
I've also been trying to tell Colleen that money's very overrated.
what money? We don't have money. Oh my God. It's like if we could make $1 off of something, that would be exciting. I said I turned into a proper farmer this week. I sold $12 worth of eggs. I'm all excited. So, yeah, it's crazy. We paranormal investigations. We don't charge. Donations, sure, that's great, but we don't you don't
Exactly.
charge. And I don't know. Are you guys advertising yet on your podcast?
We've done a little bit. We've done a few different ones. Nothing regularly yet. So yeah, we're just sort of at that weird in-between place where occasionally we have advertisers and occasionally we don't.
Yeah, it's a tough gig. When people, like a lot of people want to start, I want to start a podcast. And when I think Tim was looking at it, most podcasts fail on episode 8.
Something like
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was 5, actually.
Was it 5?
Yeah, but it was right around there.
Yeah, like in infancy, they just fall apart. And so I'm where are we? 54, 55, something like that. I don't know. We don't release I try to release every other week, and then every week in the month of October, we try to. But sometimes life gets in the way, and then I'll go, oh my God, I haven't released anything in 3 weeks. I better get to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just one of those
Right,
things.
yeah.
It can be tough, and especially, everybody's working. It's not like we're independently wealthy sitting here.
not yet.
Well, you just keep with those chicken eggs.
I saw a meme on Facebook, and it was a diamond box with an egg in it. It said he went to Kroger's. I know, right? Oh man, it's a tough gig out there. And then Tim does music too, so he's
And that pays real well.
yeah.
I think I'm about negative 42,000 last I counted.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because you spent a ton of money in Nashville. Because
Well,
if you don't have a label, you have to pay for all those recording sessions out of your pocket.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so at least with podcasting, it's just the equipment
Right.
and a host. So it's not
Right,
that
your time.
expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, so cool. So what do you think? What are your plans? Do you have any other podcast interests that you're thinking about? Or are you going to stick with the Ghosts and Garnets for a while and play it out?
I think we're definitely going to stick with the Ghosts and Garnets for a while, but we've been talking a little bit about maybe doing some offshoot stuff with maybe missing people in Idaho.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
There's a case, the case of Ricky Barnett out of Grangeville. He disappeared in 1982. And we've been kind of digging through that and talking to the police and talking to his family members. He was 2 years old, and he's never been found. And so we kind of have been talking about maybe doing a standalone series on that if we can get enough information. So, definitely we're going to stick with doing the Ghosts and Garnets, and there may be some offshoots, but we love doing it so much.
That's awesome.
That we definitely want to stick with it.
Well, you can definitely hear it in your voices that you're loving what you're doing. You're very passionate about it.
Oh, thank you.
One of the rabbit holes I recently went down were all the missing women on Indian reservations.
Oh, God. It's terrifying.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember what we were doing, but I ended up going down that one. And it's crazy.
It is.
It is crazy.
I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a podcast on trafficking, but there should be. There should be ways to get more people involved with it, because I live on a reservation out here, and honestly, it is terrifying how many young women, mostly young women, but young boys too, are going missing off of reservations, and no one cares.
But that's the same. I lived out in South Dakota 15 years, and it just seemed like every 4 or 5 months there was another girl missing, whether it was from up north of Billings, what is the name of that reservation? Up by the Canadian border, north of Billings.
I don't know.
Or, you've got several. You've got the Crow Agency is right there. But it seemed like every 3-4 months somebody was coming up missing.
I don't want to make it sound like nobody cares, but it sounds like law enforcement isn't putting enough effort into it. But maybe they're stretched so thin that they can't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that there's just a lot there.
It boils down to money. It always boils down to money.
That's true. Yeah. I don't want to get political. I just don't. But it's tough. It's really tough, and you want to help people as much as you can. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that would be an interesting topic. Speaking of the missing people, have you ever looked into the missing 411 cases? That one might be something good for you guys to chase. So there's a book. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive. I'm not paying $100 for a book. But
is it how to pay $100 for a book?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. But it's
Oh, there you are.
You lost.
Did we lose you?
We lost you. The missing 411 cases. That the weird missing people out of national parks. Have you heard of those?
Yes. Yes.
Those are bananas.
And those are bananas. And I don't know if you guys have seen the map of the United States with the missing people, and then the overlaying map of the tunnel system in the United States.
Yes.
And how they correlate and match up. That is so scary to me.
It is scary. It's like being shanghaied in Portland back in the 1700s.
That's its own rabbit hole, as Tim likes to call them. That is a huge rabbit hole.
There was I think he was an FBI agent who wrote this missing 411 book, and he's the one who has a documentary series on all of this stuff. And was fascinating to me is there were some cases in Yellowstone where people went missing. No, Yosemite. They were found miles outside of the park without shoes and no memory.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah. Those are a lot of the people go missing in national park systems. It's like, okay, is there some weird UFO thing linking here? That's just odd to me.
I'm going to say
that was Bigfoot.
I know. We're looking at someone. Now, remember, I live on a reservation. We just saw something going on outside the window.
Well, and I was just going to say it's Sasquatch, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw this big guy running through a field.
And it's a big guy. It's not.
Guy. But unless Sasquatch is wearing North Face, I don't think that's.
What?
He was literally running through a field, but that's very odd in the middle of a snowstorm. So I don't know. Anywho, yeah, you just start talking about stuff like that, and they appear. What can I say?
I've been trying to convince everybody Sam Squanch is around here.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying you better chase him down. There might be a story there.
I don't know. Tim's convinced that Sasquatch is real. I'm
convinced is kind of an overstatement.
I have to wonder what he's smoking the days that he sees him.
Sasquatch is real.
I believe in Sasquatch because when I was young, I had an experience, and we'll talk about that sometime. I totally believe in Sasquatch.
I can't.
I do too.
I can't. I just can't go there.
Okay, we're going to have a conversation because Bigfoot is here. Bigfoot is real.
I just can't. I'm sorry. Scientifically, there's no bones, there's no DNA, there's no hair, there's nothing. Come on, guys.
Scientifically, there's tunnel systems.
And they're pulling people down, right? Okay. It's a whole feeding thing. Okay. I got it. No, I love it. So, thanks. I really appreciate your time to talk with us because we really want to plug your podcast on our podcast. And
Thank you so much.
you bet. I'm going to put up a bunch of links too on our Pocatello Paranormal Research Facebook page and do all of that because I think that podcasters should help other podcasters.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and we're gonna tell all of our listeners to check you guys out, and you guys know what date this will be coming out. Let us know, and we'll
I will.
so that we tell people.
You betcha, and we'll I'll send you a link to it
Perfect.
when it comes out, and yeah, that's great. And then honestly, you might be interested in talking with Christian because he's an interviewing. If you ever get to the point where you want to interview and start doing, you want to talk about some bizarro stuff, but it's not Idaho related. It's South America,
But it's still some bizarro
stuff. When you get to the point where you're like, we need a break from this for a week. We have somebody you can interview. We interview him, he interviews us, and he's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you guys ever end up doing Paul Rhodes, let me know.
We did do that.
Oh, you already did it. Okay, never mind.
How do you know, Paul?
Because I'm the one that called the police the night Stacy got killed. I'm the youngest person in the state of Idaho that's ever been on a murder trial. Yes.
That is
Bummer that you already did it.
Where
did
was
it,
that?
Like, I
It was
think
in Blackfoot.
Like 4 episodes ago, maybe. Yep.
Yeah, no, it was in Blackfoot. No, I was the one that they almost hit. I thought it was a drunk driver.
Oh, in the parking lot.
Yeah, at the mini barn in Blackfoot.
Oh my God, we talked about you.
There you go. And here I am.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah,
That's wild.
it is. And there's a lot of things about that you don't know.
Oh, maybe you need to do a follow-up podcast.
Yeah, message us.
Put it this way. Investigation Discovery called me, and they actually came out to South Dakota, and then they flew me back out here when they did their Ice Cold Killers series is what they was doing it on.
Oh, yeah, that's
Came down, did the interview. That came out on TV, and I was so mad, and now I can't watch those shows anymore because they still don't tell the whole truth, and they change things.
Really?
Swear to God, I've lived it, I know.
Wow. Well, now you have her phone number, so you'll have to call her.
Hey.
Yeah, this is my number that we're talking on, so...
I went through the same thing with Jerry Lee Underwood.
Did you? Yeah. And they don't, there's way more to that case than you even know.
Well, so it looks like you got another person here with Tim that could maybe
We
talk
got
to
a
you.
couple.
But yeah. I don't know anybody's, let me put that out there. I know no one who's been killed in Idaho.
A disclaimer.
A disclaimer.
Hey, Tim, did you say something about Underwood?
Yeah.
Jerry Lee Underwood.
We're recording that tomorrow night.
Are you?
Oh.
She's a really good friend of mine. Was.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been avoiding it because it breaks my heart.
It's really bad. All of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, if you need any insider there, let me know.
thank you.
You bet.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I have to go listen to the podcast that they talked to me about.
I know.
That they brought me up in. Woohoo!
Well, very cool, ladies. It was really nice to meet you and talk with you, and thanks for your time. I appreciate it. I know it's probably not a day you normally record on, but this is awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
We really do. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to talk to us.
All righty. I'll talk to you soon.
You've been listening to Speaking of Spirits, powered by Pocatello Paranormal Research in Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad you could be here. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do us a favor and go to whatever platform you are listening to the podcast on and give us a review. We prefer the 5-star reviews. This helps us know how we're doing, and it helps others to find the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on our next podcast.